Hi, my name is Holly Spalding, and I'm currently taking EDUC 221 in the summer semester. It is currently June 3rd, 2025. I am re-recording my presentation because I don't think I correctly uploaded my first link. I'm going to be talking about read alouds today, and two learning outcomes that I'm going to be touching on is knowledge and understanding and identifying key components of an effective read aloud strategy. Explain the role of read alouds. According to Fisher and Frey, read alouds open the door for students to make predictions, ask questions, and draw conclusions about the text that we are reading. And if we want to talk about identifying key components of an effective read aloud strategy, there are three strategies that Fisher and Frey touch upon, and that's internal or intentional planning, active engagement, and teacher support. If we want to talk about intentional planning, that is going to be an opportunity for teachers to choose texts that are rich in vocabulary, rich in areas that open the door for broader and deeper conversations. Active engagement is where the text should offer opportunity for discussion, critical thinking, and connecting broader learning goals. And teacher support would be a teacher encouraging predictions, like having the students talk about what they think is going to happen next. Help with vocabulary. If students are stuck on a word, the teacher can encourage them to use their context clues to maybe figure out what the vocabulary word means. And then as a teacher, we're also going to encourage them to ask questions. An overview of this strategy, according to Fisher and Frey, they define read alouds as a tool where teachers read a text out loud to students while modeling fluent reading and comprehension. The purpose of a read aloud is to model the cognitive process in skilled readers we use to make sense of complex text while providing students with access to content-rich materials they might not be able to comprehend on their own. So a read aloud would give the teacher the opportunity to talk in depth about the text that we are reading. The teacher's role in a read aloud is to play an active role in guiding students through the process of understanding a complex text. And the student's role in a read aloud is to follow along either by listening or tracking text visually and to listen to key ideas, tone, and vocab words. If I was teaching English literature, I'd probably have the students have a journal, and as they're listening to a read aloud, they can highlight vocabulary words that they might not know or highlight context clues or annotate as we are reading. I'm going to demonstrate a comprehensive strategy by reading a small read aloud. I'm going to read a little clip from Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream. He says, 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. The momentous decree came as a great beacon of light and hope to millions of Negro slaves who have been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. And so we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. So if we were to be reading I Have a Dream in our literature class, we would read through it and stop and ask questions. We would ask vocabulary questions. Have you ever had a dream for the future? What do you already know about the civil rights movement? And what makes this speech powerful? Then I would turn it over to the students and ask them, now it's your turn to ask questions. To summarize this topic of a read along, we're going to talk about the benefits of using this strategy. It allows students to engage with grade level context. Teachers model how to make meaning, which improves students' ability to understand, and it builds their critical thinking skills. Again, my name is Holly Spalding, and it is June 3rd, 2025. I am taking the summer semester EDU 221. Thank you.